talking about all things mental health and maybe just all things. So, without further ado, won't you please welcome my lovely husband who's going to co-host with me this afternoon, Bill Rodgers.
You give me lots of titles, don't you? Co-host,
Co-director.
husband.
You're just a co,
Well,
which is short form for company.
well, father of my children, you didn't mention.
Well, I don't have to. You look at the children and you know.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So, yes, here I am. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Welcome, everyone. We've got a few out there today. Welcome, the crew. Welcome, Sam, straight in there with
Straight in there.
the Parma Violet Gin. And we've got Griff there. She's got the decent whiskey. Wendy, hi. She has got the lovely, lovely wine that all the way from Barnsley, I think. The vineyards of Barnsley. $3.99 from Aldi, from the vineyards of Barnsley.
Ah, lovely.
Clive's made it for the Advocar, and Katrina, she just got in there with the little stubby,
Yay!
the stubby lager, and I'm afraid everybody else, you've got Corporation Wine, which is better for you, I'm led to believe.
Do you reckon?
And if you don't know what it is, Google it.
Okay, baby.
Corporation Wine. So, good afternoon, everybody's with us.
Everybody's here.
Welcome, Kate, again, Corporation Wine, I'm afraid.
Good. I'm glad. We've got a very interesting show.
Very interesting show.
We are all going to learn together today.
It could end up being a two-parter. It's one of them things that you and I have been wanting to... Well, we used to discuss it with an old board member of ours that he often said that mental health can affect the physical and the physical can affect the mental.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to be talking about, how the physical side of our ailments, that if you've got any, can affect the mental health, and how the mental health can affect your physical side.
Yep.
And you know, our dear,
hand in hand, catch-22.
our dear board member, Nigel Webster, who sadly died a couple of years ago, was what a great mentor. He taught me a lot about how to build the organisation.
I just want to blow your mind. It was 3 years ago next week.
What, that Nigel died?
3
oh my goodness
years
me.
ago. How time flies.
How time does fly, and what a great guide and mentor he was.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that when people found out that he was going to be on our board, people went, oh, no, not Nigel. And I'm glad he was, because he was fabulous. He was a bit of a maverick like
He
myself.
taught us a lot.
And he got things done in the mental health and the disability world in and around where we lived and live. So, okay, how are you, kid?
I'm well.
Yeah?
I've had a funny little morning
Oh.
because I did my 10,000 steps. And then I did some coaching, and my coaching client wanted to go to a lady's house in Blyton, so I walked her.
Don't give away
I'm not
that
giving
password.
away any passwords.
Just say where we live.
Where we live.
Good.
Where we live. Yes. Where we live. So I walked her to said lady's house, right? And you know when you just hit the wall? You know when you've done 10,001 steps?
All right, yeah. Do you know what that's called? It's called fatigue, mate.
Fatigue.
Yeah.
Well, my legs went wobbly. I went a little, and so I kind of had to sit down.
See, we talked about this before. It's the people that create these gadgets that say you need 10,000.
10,000. I know.
Not
I know.
the experts. The
I know.
experts say 20 minutes of a good old walk is all you need. 20 to 30 minutes a day.
I know, but I tell you, there's nothing that matches the vibrating that happens on my wrist and my Fitbit. Well, my knockoff Fitbit, not a knockoff. What's it called when they're not a real
You're belittling that, and I bought it.
Well, it's not a real one.
It's not a Fitbit, no, because Fitbits are hundreds of pounds.
That's right.
Right, and
Fitness,
again...
Fitness Pro is what it's called.
Yeah, but again, it's only Fitbit that tell you that their product is worth £100.
Yeah, I know. They got in first.
Yeah.
Like Adidas.
Absolutely.
Rather than running shoes.
Absolutely.
But anyhow, the moral of the story is that, so I was feeling very fatigued and very... my age,
So you're trying to maintain good mental health by doing the 10,000 steps, right? As jiggered your physical health.
Don't put it like that, Bill.
I'm not, but it has.
But yeah.
Which is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Our mental health can upset
affect your physical, and your physical can affect your mental.
Absolutely.
Well, I am walking. Did you see what I did there? Did you see?
Yeah,
what
it's
I did there?
clever.
I am walking testament to that. That. If you overdo it with your physical, your body will go, stop that.
Well, let's talk about some joy then in your life.
All
what
right.
about joy in the last not 24 hours, because we weren't here yesterday. We had broadband because our boy was working. But what about your joy in the last
I've
24
had
and a
joy,
bit hours?
Okay, I've had joy talking with one of my dearest friends in Canada, and I love to do that. And thank you, whoever invented video chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It has kept me in touch with wonderful women that I know from Canada. And I also have discovered, at her recommendation, a brilliant Pilates teacher. So I am complete. I now have a brilliant yoga teacher online, all free. Thank you very much. And I have a brilliant Pilates teacher. So that makes me really, really joyful.
Good. We got Sam's joy. His joy today was having a visitor come from the village where he worked. He hasn't seen them since lockdown.
Brilliant.
And to add to his joy, they brought him a tuna sandwich.
You're so easily bought off, Sam.
But simple things like that.
Yeah.
Simple things.
Yeah.
Hi, Lee. Welcome. Welcome to Kate again. Simple things can bring you joy, Kate, and very, very rewarding for your mental
Are
health.
you calling my friend simple?
No.
I know.
A tuna sandwich.
I'm teasing you, babe.
A tuna sandwich. But yeah. Yes, all right. Then your friend's
All right. Now my turn. Asking you, how are you, Bill Rodgers?
I am good.
Yeah.
Every day's a bonus, as we know. Every day's a bonus as soon as I put my feet on the floor. Unfortunately, my left heel's giving me jip, but we're not here to talk about my aches and pains because I don't think will affect my mental health. But hi, Ali, welcome. We're just doing joy, so let's hear your joy team. And we're doing how are we's. Not the telephone company. It's not an advert, but we.
So go on. Today is your.
Today is my 3rd heart-iversary.
It is indeed.
It's 3 years today at 7 o'clock this morning that I had my coronary interruption.
They call it. What do they call it?
My
Your
own-
incident.
They call it an incident. They
Your
call
event.
It what?
Your
My event. Yeah, the
You
event.
had your event.
Yeah, my cardiac interruption.
And
I
it's,
like to call
it's a
it.
heart-iversary.
Heart-iversary. Yeah, I belong
You
to.
people, you've got your own.
We've got our own online groups, a bit like the Crazy Crew.
Yeah.
With thousands of members, because you'd be surprised how many people do have heart attacks every 7 minutes globally.
Yeah.
It's the biggest killer of everybody and anybody in America.
Is it?
It is.
Is it really?
Yeah. With the exception of Corona right now, I think.
Well,
but,
I don't know.
But it's the biggest killer of anyone in America. Heart attack.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a diet and lifestyle. And paranoia. Stress is a great contributor to heart failure.
There we go. The mental and the physical being interrelated again.
Absolutely. I had what they call a myocardial infarction in the LAD, the lower ventricular artery, which is on the top end of the heart here,
Okay.
which kind of pumps the old blood in, and then the right ventricular pumps it out and keeps the old body oxygenated as well. And mine got furred up, and it got so much furred up that I did not have chest pain.
And they call this kind of incident the Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker. Yeah.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Widowmaker. I
Yeah.
won't have it. I'm not having it.
Yeah, my specialist, the cardiac specialist, is brilliant. Dr. Percy Jockey of the Lincoln Cardiac Unit, which is an amazing place, a life-saving building, brand new, and he's worked all over the world. He did a lot of training in Canada. Yeah, and he came from Oxford, so he's Oxford educated and all that, which I don't mind at all. Dr. Percy Jockey.
You forgive him, do you?
Well, he didn't wear a lanyard.
Oh, lovely.
He wore.
So he just came in as a civil.
Yeah, but he had when he came in his civvies, he had a brown tank top on. Very 1980s.
Yeah.
Lovely man. And he came in and he said to me after the operation, let's call it. When they went right up my right arm, straight through the artery, straight into the heart, put a stent in, and it was amazing. I've never felt a feeling like it after they put the stent in. I've never felt a feeling like it. It was complete euphoria. My whole body just went, as though I'd been waiting for years for this to happen. And my coughing, my chestiness, I just put down to the fact that it was me, and I smoked 20 fags a day, which I haven't touched a cigarette 3 years today either.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
That's
whoop.
all.
Now that one I will celebrate.
Well, not the heart
I'm not
attack.
celebrating that you survived. No, I'm celebrating that you quit smoking.
And saved how much money and all. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we have these heartiversaries online with our groups all the time.
Brilliant.
We celebrate the fact that we're still here. I've got hereditary cholesterol, which is one of the reasons that my heart clogged up. And that on top of the smoking and the bad diet at the time, high risk factors for, potential heart. And I did. And I had no pain. It just happened. Because sometimes they have this silent heart attack. I was a bit sweaty and a bit breathless. And they came and they did a mobile ECG, did the paramedics.
They did.
And they went, "Oh, we think you're having a heart attack."
Yep. Get in the van.
Get in the van. And they took me off to hospital, and within an hour, I was in a hospital.
Well, I came in the ambulance with you, and
Yeah.
I was only waiting 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I barely got through a woman's own. I
Yeah.
mean, it was
Well,
swift.
I'd gone from, I laid in the bed afterwards, you were there, and you go, "Oh, where's my clothes?" With strange people shaving parts of me, just in case. Women I'd never met, They were armed there with their Bic razors. They didn't need them, fortunately, because we managed to get the tubes up my arm. They were looking for an alternative just in case. And within an hour, I was sitting there, and a woman came in and said, "Would you like a cup of tea?"
Brilliant.
And I'm like, "I've just had a heart attack."
Yay, the NHS.
Brilliant. What an institution. Brilliant.
Yep.
Clive says, "I spoke to him a few days ago. Jockey.
Oh,
Lovely fella."
there you go.
Kate O'Brien, my joy, yes, he was a visit from our hedgehog. And today's joy was lunch with my eldest, and we each had a vegan Cornish pasty. How the world is changing, isn't it? Greg's have got vegan steak bakes. You know what I mean? How the world is
Greg's
changing.
of all places triumphs with veganism.
I
I
know
love it.
how the world is
love it.
changing. Katrina says, "My joy, catch up with friends yesterday morning. Spent an amazing half hour with my mother, who was on form, and I laughed till I cried."
Brilliant.
Brilliant, Trina.
Brilliant.
Well done, mate. Well
Wendy says, "My joy
done.
is my dog Poppy is improving after having to rush to the vets last night."
Oh, bless.
no! Oh no! I don't like poorly dogs.
We don't like poorly anybodies. That's just the thing, do we? We don't like poorly
I
anybody.
know we're wusses.
We are indeed.
So, what's your joy, Bill? That your 3-year anniversary?
That's my
Is
3
that
year
your-
old. Yeah, the fact that I'm
So,
still.
how you are and your joy are intermingled.
I'm happy with my joy and my other joy. Basically, I think we've created this podcast from both sides of the medication cart, and it's early days on that. But I managed yesterday to get it onto a platform.
Yeah.
And I've managed through that one single platform. It's now on 6 different platforms.
I'd just like to applaud you.
So it's going out all over the place.
Applauding, 'cause
Yeah,
I know
thank
that
you very
was
much.
a big step and a lot of work and a lot of technology. They say it's simple, but I know it was a lot of technology for you. So well done, Bill. Well done, and thank you, and congratulations.
You're very
for
welcome.
making me sound good.
I just want to mention Katrina's husband, because Kieran, who's also a friend of ours in the village, he had a heart attack roughly about the same time as me. And he was in bed, thought he died when all the nurses started to strip him off. Well, they do.
They're angels.
It's an
They're
interesting.
angels.
No, it's an interesting thing, because they wheel you in,
Yeah.
and they say, you're having a heart attack. It's like,
Yes.
well, I can't. All I can feel is like warm and sweaty, and then you wheel in a room full of strangers, and the first thing they do is 2 nurses take you completely naked,
Yeah. Shroop.
take your clothes off.
Yeah.
And you're not given a gown or anything. They just chuck a white blanket on you and then walk away.
Brilliant.
I mean, the only other person that's ever done that for me, they had to buy me a drink first. You know what I mean? And there they were, just quite happily, And then the thing is, you feel much better. They've just saved your life. And all you can think about when they're wheeling you out of that room is, where are my clothes?
Oh.
Thank you for saving my life, NHS, and performing what in America, it's $100,000.
Billions of
Yeah,
pounds.
$100,000 for the same treatment.
Yeah, I know.
Plus the overnight, plus the meal.
Yeah.
So some of the
Plus the ambulance.
yeah, some of the groups that I talked to, they have had a single stent in the LAD, right, and got a bill for $115,000.
Yeah.
They keep saying, thank God for Medicare, their private insurance.
Yeah.
What do we got? My joy is that my dog curled up next to me fast asleep, and I finally made it to watch Kate and Bill after about 2 weeks of having to do other things.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, because
Welcome
you
back.
will find today's topic, I think, Griff, very interesting.
Good.
We are
yes.
talking about the connection between mental health and how it affects the physical, and the physical health can affect the mental. I'm sure you have one. She was part of the Sheffield group a few years ago. Don't know, Kate. I think we are nano-winamo buddies. If not, you have a double. Okay. They're obviously talking to
I
themselves
don't
and
know
not
what
me.
they're talking about.
I've no idea.
That's why I just look and don't read, because I get confused.
I know, there's me and you sat
They
here.
are the crazy crew. They are living up to
two
their...
beautiful people, and they're talking to themselves. I mean, you know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. This may end up being a two-parter because we've done a lot of research on this. We
wanted to be informed.
Yeah.
Because we know that there are people out there, i.e. in the crazy crew, who probably know a lot more about this than we do.
We do, yeah.
But we have the microphones, so we rule.
And I have nurse
Wikipedia,
Dr. Google, and obviously Professor Oxford English Dictionary.
But we have some experts amongst our crew.
Mm-hmm. So we did rack our brain, Kate and myself. That's all right, Kate. You carry on. Kate's just apologised. You bless you. You carry on. It's what the group is there for. Just don't take notes of me and Kate.
No. We'll just chat amongst ourselves.
Half the time we don't know what we're talking about.
No. I made it up.
That's mental health for you.
It up.
I know, mate.
I made it up. It never happened.
I know.
I saw it in a movie, and I decided I wanted to be that girl.
That's right. That's right. You've never been mentally unwell.
Here's Johnny.
I know. Ali says, my joy is having Tyke to talk to and taking him out for daily walks. I've lost 6 pounds.
Oh, congratulations, Ali.
Well done, Ali. I've lost a fiver if anybody can find it.
Oh,
there you go.
Ba-boom shoe.
I know.
Ba-boom shoe.
If you miss me, I'm here all week.
Yeah.
Again, dear Nigel taught us about the mental health. There's no health without good mental health, and there's no health without good physical health. And you and I have been talked about this for years. We actually knew a friend that had got it. She's no longer with us, but she had it for donkey's years, and it was crippling for her. I was involved with several conferences that you spoke at as an audience member, and there was of the mental health conferences that you spoke at. And lean forward, that's it, brilliant. Mental health conferences, and I spoke to people that had got this. Mm-hmm. And it took me about 3 minutes to figure out how to say it properly.
I know.
And one woman, she said, Bill, can you make me a t-shirt? I said, yeah. She said, well, can you put this on the t-shirt? And the slogan I want is, if you find it hard to spell, you should try living with it. Right? And the word is, Kate?
Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to be talking about. What is and why fibromyalgia is connected to mental health.
Yes.
Right? It's a very tenuous connection, but it's also a very painful connection. Mm-hmm. Right?
Intertwined.
It's very intertwined, very much so. And I'm glad we've done the research because I feel better informed about it. If people out there in our crew know people that have got it, maybe they can be a bit more informative about it than what we've discovered.
Absolutely. We're looking for feedback.
We're looking for feedback on this one because it is a very, very painful thing to live with. Mm-hmm. We had a very dear friend of ours called Lynn. She brought our kids up with us.
Yeah.
She was
our nanny.
She was their looker after her. Mm-hmm. And the kids loved it when Lynn was looking after the kids and Kate and I were working, because Lynn used to give them supper.
She did.
I mean, we would give them their evening meal and that'd be it.
Yep.
No more eating till the next day. But Lynn, about 8:30, 9 o'clock, would make them a cheese sandwich or
cereal.
Or cereal.
Yeah.
They would have a supper. Hi, Kelly, welcome. They would have cereal. And Lynn, sadly, she died a few years ago, but she suffered for years with fibromyalgia. And Kate and I just did not appreciate or understand what she was going through some days. Mm-hmm. So, Kate, we've done our research.
Yep.
I want to kick off then, obviously, the question, right?
What is fibromyalgia?
What is it?
Yes.
What is it?
All right, here we go, gang. Fibromyalgia syndrome, okay, so it's a syndrome, is a condition that is not well understood as yet. And you and I went on more than one website, and they all said the same thing. It's early days.
Early days. They're not really sure what it is.
It's really early days. They're not sure what causes it. They're not sure what it is. They're not sure who's got it. They're just the Royal Council of those that wear lanyards, they're just not sure.
They're not sure.
And we will talk about that throughout this entire broadcast.
Well, the 5-parter that we did last week about stress, the key that kept coming up is they weren't really sure.
I know. Stress causes mental health. Mental health causes stress. So there. So fibromyalgia symptoms are varied, but they usually include chronic pain around the body, muscle stiffness, fatigue, i.e. extreme tiredness and exhaustion, and it may severely affect a person's day-to-day life.
Which I know a few people that have got it, and our dear friend Lynn, it did.
Yeah.
When
It impacted
she got an attack,
immensely.
She could not get off the couch.
No. And she hurt.
And she hurt.
She hurt.
Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't just fatigue, it was pain. And we'll talk about that. Experts do not yet understand what causes fibromyalgia, but it is a long-term condition that may be linked to abnormal chemical activity within the brain.
Which is exactly what happens when you're mentally unwell as well.
That
chemical
imbalance that happens, that's right.
And I will reiterate that we do not have expertise in this field, crew. We only know what we know about.
That's right.
And what we know about is that Kate has been mentally unwell or unstable for over 30 years. And you've experienced many of these symptoms over the last 30 years that you and I are discussing constantly on the live talk show.
That's right. Yep.
So I just want to put that as a caveat. We're not doctors or nurses or anything like that.
No.
But we work.
We're pop psychologists.
We work just as hard, though. We work just as hard. We work good.
There is no cure for fibromyalgia, but there are therapeutic fibromyalgic treatments that can reduce the impact of symptoms on a person's life. So this is good. And this is what they've been finding out over the last 20 years, is what can help. And fortunately, there's great communities out there who talk to each other about, I've got it, you've got it, we've got it, what helps you? And so because of things like social media, the communication has been that positive and that strong that they have learned a great deal about what can help.
Because the community is talking.
Exactly. And shows like what we're doing today.
Absolutely. Kate says, I've got fibro and ME. Griff's talking about fibro and ME there. And Kelly says, I've got fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
So
Griff's got ME.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Which we're not going to talk too much today about ME, guys. We're hoping to do a show on that as a separate entity. I know they're intertwined quite often. Like Kate's just said, she's got both. But we'll talk about ME
at a later date.
At a later date.
But this is because this is very dear to our heart because of our friend Lynn, and also we know so many people that's got it.
And the thing is because you and I, the world in which we walk, we know a lot of people who are mentally unwell. And what you discover is a lot of people who are mentally unwell have fibro. And which came first, the fibro or the illness, or the fibro?
We will cover that later throughout the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fibromyalgia seems to affect people of all ages, but it's mostly those aged between 30 and 50. Women are much more likely to develop the condition compared to men. It is thought to be more common that statistics report, since many people do not seek medical help or are misdiagnosed.
Do we know why that is? Why women get it more than men? Or
I don't think so. I don't think they've figured that out. It's just one of those things that they've observed, right? And they're suggesting, gang, here we go. There may be as many as 1.5 to 2 million people in the UK with fibromyalgia.
And interesting enough, I looked at you've done your stats. I again went to Dr. Google about it. And they reckon there's 10 million people in America got it.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a huge lot. And that's a lot for something that they're coming and saying, we really don't know. We really don't know what it is. We don't know what causes it. We don't know what cures it. We don't know what are we doing? What are we doing? I know, but it is incredible. So you wanted to...
I wanted to cover this because you said that, lots of new cases, etc., 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 and people saying, well, we're not really sure what it is, as though it's only just started.
Right.
Well, I'm here to tell you that that's not the case.
Right.
Fibromyalgia, some people believe that it's a new condition, but it's been around for centuries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And it was once considered a mental health disorder.
Yes.
That it was psychosomatic.
Yes.
Right?
All in your head.
Yeah. That you were making it up, that you were making yourself hurt. And this goes back to, pre the 1800s. And it wasn't until the 1800s that it was classified in the books, when doctors started to realise that there was more to this than meets the eye, when Freud met the physicians and all that, when the Pinels, the French guys, were coming over here with new ideas and saying, maybe that it's not. That was it.
It was like he was in the room.
Maybe, right, that it was a rheumatoid disorder that caused all the stiffness of the pain and the fatigue and the difficulty in sleeping, not a mental health disorder.
Right.
But up to that point, it was considered a mental health problem. Fibromyalgia tender points, these points where the pain is, were started to get discovered repetitively in patients around about the 1920s. About the
1820s.
1820s.
Yeah. Long time ago.
It is a long time ago. And that's when they kind of decreed it as a rheumatological issue rather than a neurological issue. And they literally called it fibritis because it was the fibers, the recurring pains.
Yeah. Well, itis means inflammation.
Yeah.
Like tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Appendicitis. It's inflammation. Yeah.
Well, it was originally called fibritis. Fibritis. And many doctors believe the pain that was caused by inflammation on the certain sites of where the pain was isolating itself. So if you got it in your legs, there was inflammation there. If you got it in your arms, there was inflammation there. But several patients would go in with the same symptoms and the pain would be in the same places.
Absolutely.
So they
started going,
hang on a minute. No,
we have a syndrome here.
we have a syndrome, not something that's just a one-off.
Yeah, exactly.
And it wasn't until 1976, right? So that's 100 years.
150,
150
honey.
years.
Do the math. 150
years. You're the mathematician. 150. You're the one who's the smart kid.
I am.
You're telling me that it took 150 years before they actually gave it a real name.
Yeah.
Right. And again, it's a bit like naming the drugs. You know what I mean? They put their hand in the Scrabble bag.
Yeah.
And came out with all the letters and made the new name for it. But in this case, they actually went to the Greek.
Of course.
And the Latin. They went to the Greek and the Latin. So it's obviously named by academics. You know, not Frank in the street would say, pain in me arm, we'll call it that, you know, pain in me back, we'll call it that. But no, the academics, they took the Latin word fibro, which means tissues, or fibrosis, the tissues. They also took the Greek word myo, meaning muscle, and the Greek word algia, meaning pain. And they put those three together, and they called it fibromyalgia. Right, and that wasn't until 1976 that it actually became known as a fibromyalgia syndrome. In 1990, the American College of Rheumatoid Arthritis established guidelines, and this is brilliant. From 1820 to 2007, there was no prescriptions given. I don't know how they used to treat it. I think it may be either massage or heat therapy or cold therapy or whatever. But the first prescription for fibromyalgia was not written and given by a doctor to a patient till 2007.
Unbelievable.
That is incredible, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
That is incredible. And now we have, in 2019, we have the international diagnostic criteria for fibromyalgia. They have a diagnostic for it. They have, I know you've got it because I read it in a book. No, what I'm saying is the information
you
is.
could make a good doctor, Bill.
Yeah, but the outlets there. Well, I've been to the GP when they've referred to that big fat book.
Yeah.
You've got.
I have when they've looked up drugs for me.
Yeah, the big fat book. So it wasn't till 2007, but that fibromyalgia prescription
was being prescribed.
In that big fat book.
Even though it's a physical illness,
it
affects the mental. Of course, it does. Because if you're in pain, of course, it's going to affect your mental.
Yeah.
But it's such a physical syndrome, and yet it's not till 2007 before they're prescribing.
Yeah, but they've known about it since the early 1800s.
1820s is when it first comes on the radar.
Yeah.
As being regular, that people were having tender points and.
But my fascination with it is that before that, it was considered a mental illness.
Yes.
It was considered there's nothing wrong with it. You're making it up. It's all in the mind. Whereas
and I've had friends tell me with fibro who still have that because you can't see it. Again, it's like you don't have a broken arm. You just hurt. So very difficult to communicate with. All right, our next little bit.
Come on, I mean, yeah, what causes it? I
What
asked you.
causes
you said, I
fibromyalgia?
want to find out
All
what
right.
causes it. Let's have a look.
Once again, the first line of my research tells us nobody knows for sure what causes fibromyalgia. So stay tuned. We'll let you know. Current theories suggest that fibromyalgia may be caused by irregular activity within the central nervous system. Now, what's making irregular activity in your central nervous system? Who knows? Yeah, I know that people have different theories and different ideas about that. But this is because the pain it causes does not seem to be a result of physical or mechanical problems in the body, example, a broken bone, a pulled muscle, inflammation, but instead it seems to be caused by the brain's management of pain signals. Aha! So the brain is interpreting things going on in the central nervous system as pain.
Right.
Yeah, and pain is actually our friend, even though some fibro sufferers would not believe. But pain tells us to stay away from that heat. Pain tells us to move away from that sharp object. Pain tells us to stop twisting so far, because we're gonna pull a muscle or whatever. So they don't know what causes it, but they're thinking that it might be irregular activity within the central nervous system. Instead, it seems to be caused by the brain's management of pain signals, and this means that for many people, pain-relieving drugs do not have much effect for them, and pain cannot be healed.
I can remember a couple of people, but our friend Lynn, that basically I said, what do you take for it? And she says paracetamol and ibuprofen.
I know.
Off the shelf.
An anti-inflammatory that's just off the shelf. That might take the edge off it.
20 pence from the chemist. 20 pence from the corner shop.
It is common for a stressful life event to be what triggers fibromyalgia.
Ah, that's interesting.
Now, this is really what gets us. Lots of people who have the condition report that their fibromyalgia symptoms began when they had an illness, an injury, an operation. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bereavement, relationship breakdown, example, divorce, or even after having a baby. So you and I are staying together because I really don't want to. I don't want to live with pain. I know people who do, and it's not an easy course. Similarly, people report that their fibromyalgia symptoms flare up due to these types of events and experiences. So when we were doing our stuff about stress
I was just going to say that.
Go ahead, say it.
No, I was just going to say, when we were doing our stuff about stress, everything that you've got cited on your list there about, breakups, bereavements, relationship breakdown, all this, right, we talked about during this, about stress and about panic attacks, right? So even if you are slightly stressed, right, and it manifests, like we talked about, it can manifest into anxiety, and then anxiety manifests into depression, and then depression could lead up to fibromyalgia.
Before you know it, the ailments in your body are doing top trumps. Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I have mental illness. I've been chained to a bed in a mental institution. I've been severely psychotic. I've had but I don't live with pain. You know what I mean? So what is easier?
Well, your friend Tracy there, she says mine started after an operation.
Well, there you go.
So was that the trauma?
Well, there you go.
My interest there would be, was that the trauma of the operation, or was that the body in trauma going, right, I'm going to give you more pain? Griff says a lot of people still dismiss it as fake.
Yep. Yep.
You're not wrong. I mean, we are going to be talking in depth about it. This might end up being another two-parter because there's a lot out there about this.
Absolutely.
And my interest in it from this side of the medication cart is you just said you don't want to get it. As your carer, I don't want you to get it. You know what I mean? So if we can find any of the symptoms that are connected to your mental health that may lead to fibromyalgia, yeah, we're going to stop them.
Yeah. If only we could.
Well, I know.
And if only we knew that, going through that divorce is going to cause my body to ache for the rest of my life. Do you know what I mean?
Indeed.
I might be nice to you. I'm going to stick with you.
Well, do be nice to me, because Kelly's just said a lot of people who've got it are carers. Oh, dearie me. My knees are bad and my wrists are. I've got my wrists kill me from...
Could be the tender points, Bill.
That could be.
Yeah.
Tell me where your tender points are. Are they knees, ankles and wrists? If so, I've got it.
Right. So we were going to look at symptoms.
I've gone onto Dr. Google. We got onto and symptoms. We want to cover the symptoms as well for people that aren't fully au fait with what it is. Dr. Google told me that fibromyalgia symptoms will affect a person's life in some degree, but this will be very different for each person because some people can find that they can go about their daily routines in life even when their fibromyalgia flares up. I think in some cases, like Kelly's just cited there, that even carers get it. You know, if you're a carer, you've got to work through it, haven't you? If you're looking for...
Everybody's got to work through it.
Yeah, but if you're looking after somebody... Yeah, absolutely. If you've got a job that you've got to take some bacon home...
Yeah, but then, you know, there can come a time when the fibro... I mean, I talk about my mental illness this way, so I hope I don't offend anybody for talking about their fibro that way, where you just let it win.
Yeah.
You just have to stop. You just have to rest. You just have to give in. I call it hunker down. There are times when I have to hunker down, and I think people who have fibro have similar as well, where you can't work through it. You simply can't.
Interesting enough, you've just reminded me of an anecdote that I'd like to share.
Yeah.
I had a abscess in my liver that they told me was suspected bile duct cancer. And they rushed me into hospital because I was in so much pain and agony and all that kind of stuff. And I was in A&E, and they put me in a booth. They put painkiller through my body because I'd got sepsis at the time, and I didn't know that. But my mental health and my physical health was a mess. It was a mess. And this nurse who was helping me out and dealing with me, she was fantastic, mid-40s. And she said, what is it that you've got that you'd make... I said, I've got an abscess on my liver, right? And she said, I've got 2 of them in my liver, only little ones. I said, you better get them treated. She went, well, I don't bother unless they hurt. I take painkillers when they hurt. So talking about working through it, I suspect that people who have fibromyalgia pain
work through it.
Work through it. They've got to work through it.
See, but we might be getting ahead of ourselves here, but a lot of people with fibromyalgia and ME, if they do work through it, right, they pay for it.
I know. Tender points for me, says Tracy, on my ribs, hips, knees and feet. Bumpsy daisy is all I can say to that. Particularly the toes on my left foot. And I am trying to make a joke out of this because there are 20 odd tender points that make your body react. Restrictions, swelling, spasms, tingles, feeling hot, numbness, and so on, says Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It also says here, others will have constant symptoms that are difficult to manage. You just said about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And later, we're going to look at how well we can live with fibromyalgia.
Of course we can. So
some of the symptoms that you might get is pain all around the body, which may feel like a burning or a stabbing or a shooting sensation. Now, I'm not saying I've got it, I'm not saying I want it, but, you know, we're very quick to dismiss things like that. Oh, what was that? Oh, what was that? Oh, it'll go away. So, you know, throbbing, stabbing, shooting pains. Oh, it'll go away.
I think this is what they're talking about earlier when they say that lots of people don't seek medical help. You know, lots of people do just write it off to, oh, got a twinge, you know, and
the next thing it says high sensitivity to pain, feeling even the slightest touch hurts. Which that must be horrendous.
Well, if these tender spots, as we're talking about, tender points, they would certainly be more, I want to say susceptible, it's not the right word, more responsive to pain. Yeah. So, you know, you can get specific spots that hurt.
Fatigue. That seems to be high on the old fibromyalgia. Constant fatigue, exhaustion, unexplained tiredness.
Yep.
I'm back. Unexplained tiredness. You know, why am I tired? You know, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. Why am I tired? Unexplained tiredness.
Yeah. That's what we need, Bill. You've just hit on it. We need some really good stand-up comedian to do a routine who's got fibromyalgia and just take the mick out of it.
Tell us,
take some of the speed.
I would understand it.
When you're faking sleeping there, you know, you inspire me that we really do. You know, it's a horrendous syndrome, but you know, if we can find the lighter side, then that's good. So carry on.
Sleep issues. You don't get any good restorative sleep.
Yes.
Being unable to get into a deep sleep.
Restorative sleep.
Yeah, restorative that will rejuvenate you.
Yeah.
We don't get that kind of sleep.
I know that a lot of people with fibro talk about that at night. That's when the pain
really kicks in,
and
yeah.
you get aches, and you get and they try all sorts of things like magnesium spray and rubbing and ice and and all sorts of things, but you just don't get good solid.
Well, that's what Kelly just said. She said it can be quick or it can go on for days, but it also wakes you up.
Yeah.
When you are so tired.
Yeah.
The pain can just keep waiting. Well, if you turn onto one of your tender spots, you know what I mean, or whatever. How do you get comfortable? How do you get comfortable?
I
know. Cognitive difficulties.
Right.
Is a big one here. Feeling like that you're slow to process it, or you're having memory issues.
They call it fibro fog.
Do they?
I've heard that before. They call it fibro fog. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can't remember things. You can't.
You can't.
But that, again,
fog is a perfect word for it.
Again, we've used that term, mental health, the brain fog. That when you get depressed or you get anxiety, you get the brain fog as well.
That's right. So and the medication brings on brain fog.
You can see why the correlation between the mental and the physical.
There's no health without mental health.
I know. Brilliant.
Yep. Carry on,
Well,
Bill.
not brilliant, but I mean, it's very, very interesting.
Well, it's good to learn. It's good to learn.
Well,
it's good to talk about it. And I mean, if it's only 2007 that they've started, treating with medicine.
Yeah.
And the 1990s when they actually name it. It's in its infancy.
We should know
so the more
more
that we talk, the more that we know, the more that we share, the better.
I, Bill and Kate, thought I'd drop in Peter. We're talking about fibromyalgia, Peter, and how it affects the mental and the physical. Kelly said, you're right, Kate, fibrofog, that's what it's called.
Yep, thank you.
You have to learn to listen to your own body. Tiredness and fatigue are warning signs to stop before the pain kicks in, says Tracy.
Yep.
So it's a bit a warning, a bit like the aura.
Right. And I know that Tracy's been learning how to deal with it for a couple of years now. And I'm sure, dare I say, you learn it the hard way. You figure, oh no, I'm okay. I got an ick, I got a pain, and I'll keep going. And then you pay for it. And you learn, I'm feeling tired. I must rest. Yeah. Which is very Buddha. Very Buddha.
Well,
rest when you're tired.
Or very South Yorkshire. if they're tired, sit down 5 minutes. You don't need to be.
My dad was a chiropractor, and let me see if I get this straight. If you're standing and you're tired, sit down. If you're still tired, lie down. If you're still tired, sleep. He had some sit
mantra.
down mantra. That's it. A mantra of sit down, lie down. Sleep.
Well, it's very similar to South Yorkshire. Sit down and shut the eyes for 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
Respecting your body knows what's best for it. What other symptoms?
One of the major symptoms, and they've highlighted this as well, so it's in bold, is stiff joints and muscles. Well, I get that all the time. I don't want to go on about it again because it's not about me, but my knees hurt, and me wrists, and me, But I don't think I've got fibromyalgia, so it must be...
Well, you see, I think you're one of those that doesn't go to the doctor.
No, but this is one of them saying, they say they can't figure out whether or not you... It can take up to 2 years...
To get a diagnosis.
To get a proper diagnosis. True fact information. I'm not making that up. During our learning process of finding out about this, Kate, it cropped up everywhere. It can take up to 2 years to get a definitive diagnosis that you have got fibromyalgia. So if I go to the doctor with my knees, I've got knee ache. If I go with my foot the next day, I've got foot ache. I don't want to go back and forward for 2 years, which all I've got fibromyalgia. I'll be 39 then. I'll be too old to go for a run.
Oh, Bill. It's just different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
Whether you're a person who goes to the doctor, who doesn't, right? And there are things that I think people suffer unnecessarily that some medical intervention might help with, and then there are things that just deal with it yourself. So
well, in some cases you can, but I don't know whether you can with this. Balance problems, vertigo,
yes,
dizziness, and it just comes on.
Yeah.
It just comes on.
Yeah. Now, see, like I have no pain. I'm extremely lucky, and I do gratitude. I do that every day.
Yeah.
And the number of times I put down, I am grateful for my pain-free body.
Yeah.
Like I really totally respect that. But I have vertigo. I have dizziness. I do the gardening, and I bend over and I pull a weed or two, and when I straighten up, I black out. You know,
That's what I'm saying. The connection between
yeah.
these and
Yeah, so I'm just saying that, you know, the symptoms,
yeah,
you know, can so easily be written off as other things.
As other things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. What else have you got, Bill, for symptoms?
Well, food intolerance.
Yep.
You just suddenly develop an intolerance for something.
Yeah. And I think again, I've heard quite a bit, like gluten, you know, gluten intolerance and stuff like that, lactose intolerance, that kind of stuff, right? And this all goes back to what we were talking about with it being a central nervous system misalignment, that there's something going on there with allergies and allergens and sensitivities and stuff like that. So if you're having that, you know, keep an eye on yourself, you know, and if you're having several symptoms, get yourself to the doctor and start your 2-year cycle.
2-year cycle. We had a friend who he had wheat and gluten intolerance.
Yep.
So he stopped drinking beer and he stopped eating bread and anything that got wheat or flour in it. And within a matter of months, he'd lost 3 stone.
Yeah. And the difference in his physicality, the difference in his psychological.
Yeah.
Talk about brain fog. And that was by just getting rid of gluten.
Because he was so uncomfortable in his body.
He felt bloated
Not the
all
weight,
the time.
but he felt bloated.
Yeah.
If he had a slice of bread, he felt horrible.
Yeah.
If you had a pint of bitter in the pub with me for an hour, it felt
and it takes
horrible.
ages to put it together.
I know.
It's bread that's causing this discomfort. What else have you got, darling? What other symptoms?
Well, basically a sensitivity to temperature, hot and cold. Again, that came up when we did a show about anxiety.
Yeah.
That anxiety, your body becomes hypersensitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you talk about it, someone ripping your skin off with barbed wire.
That's right.
So again, that's another one that's very similar.
Yeah.
To another symptom.
Yeah.
So you're susceptible and worried about cold. You get hot quickly. You get cold quickly. Is that anxiety? Is it because I'm cold or hot?
Is it because it's hot out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or is it a symptom of fibromyalgia? You know, I think I lovely. Do they know if other meds can cause it? I don't know. Our friend who we lost, you know what I mean?
No, sorry, I'm just laughing because Denise put "they" in quotes. Do they?
Them.
Do they?
Yeah, the Royal Council of They. We had a friend who had it, and she's no longer with us, bless her. She used to look after the kids. She put hers down to extensive use of some medication that she was taking for her back. If you remember, she had some problems with her back.
And next thing you know, she's got fibromyalgia.
And the next thing, she got fibromyalgia. So.
I don't know, Denise.
And we're not qualified enough to actually say, you know.
If other meds can cause it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure that any medication that you're on has side effects, including paracetamol, including aspirin, including ibuprofen, all the ones that we pop on a regular basis. But yes, every medication, you're messing with your chemistry. There will be side effects.
There will be.
Yeah, so yeah.
Well, Kate says hot flushes and feeling freezing when no one else is. That must be bizarre.
I know.
Having a hot flush, but you're really cold.
Well, and
that'd
also,
be like having flu.
But if fibro is hitting 7 times as many, that was the statistics I read, 7 times as many women, right?
Yeah.
And between the ages of 30 and 50 is where it's most popular. We're talking menopause.
Yeah.
We're talking menopause. So when you start messing with your biochemistry and you're going through menopause, it's no wonder that people are coming out with syndromes such as ME and fibro and, you know, and stress. You know, it's no wonder.
I like the fact that you become its friend and abbreviated its name.
Well, yeah, man.
You know, fibro. Me and fibro were like that.
Yeah, me and fibro, we're like that.
We're like that, yeah.
Well, it's just because the myalgia, I'm concerned I'm saying it wrong.
I know. Like that lady said to me, you know, it might be difficult to spell, but you should try living with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Here it goes, Bill. Give us the next symptom.
Mood swings, anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems. Bang. That's what I'd heard.
Absolutely.
That's what I'd heard from our dear friend Nigel, where we started the show, that fibromyalgia can be caused by mental health problems. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is.
Yeah.
Kelly says she's met some men who've got it.
Of course they have.
You know,
we know a couple of men that have got it.
But it can cause mood swings, irritability,
anxiety,
depression, and mental health problems.
So hang on. What we're doing is symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does the fibro cause anxiety, or is anxiety a symptom that you might have fibro? It's all intertwined. I don't know either.
I don't
and
know.
you wonder, and you know what? What do doctors get? They get 10 minutes to have a meeting with us?
Absolutely.
Is that it? Is
You
that
can see why it takes
7
2 years.
7 minutes they're allowed per appointment,
Bless
or something
them.
ridiculous like that?
Bless them.
You know, so if you are suspicious that you have several of these symptoms, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I need a diagnosis, right? When you go see your GP, because you should, is write down what you want to talk to them about.
Yeah.
Write down
Yeah.
your symptoms.
Yeah.
Write down, keep a diary for a week of your aches and your pains and your dizziness and your anxiety and your pain and your fatigue and your cognitive and your fog and your all. Keep a diary, right? Check, and that way your 7-minute appointment with your GP, you will be able to get the most out of it. So that's Kate's top tip. So yes, I'm not an expert in anything, but I am an expert in getting out of the professionals the best that you can.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Because they're not mind readers. If you don't tell them what's wrong with you, they're not going to be able to know.
If in your journey you have a carer who's part of your support team, take them with you when you go to the doctor.
Yep.
Bill goes to all my appointments with me, and you know what? I go to his appointments too.
She does. I go with her because she can't drive. That's the truth.
That's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's because we're so clever. It's because I want to be clever. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Yes. What else do we have? We have food intolerances, mood swings.
This is one.
Yeah.
That's cropped up all the time.
Yep.
Digestive problems. I'd rather say digestive biscuits, but digestive problems with the guts, and it can cause, it's a symptom, IBS.
Yes. And we will be doing an entire show on gut biology.
We are going to do.
That is another thing that intrigues and interests us. But yes, digestive problems, bowel
issues, IBS,
IBS.
But again, similar to other issues,
urination, ache, pain when you pee.
But similar to, that's a bit graphic.
I know.
I wasn't going to touch that, but there we go. Similar to stress, panic attacks, what we talked about earlier. We dedicated a whole week to stress and panic attacks and that, irritable bowel and all that kind of stuff. Very similar to having a panic attack. You're getting nervous, getting scared, getting worried, guts starting to crack up. Headaches and migraine, it says here as well.
Yep.
Moving on to that you get these headaches, you get this pain. Again, very similar to stress, very similar to panic attack.
And very important that you understand that some people will have some symptoms and some people will have other symptoms. And then you have varying degrees of the symptoms. Like some people can carry on as they were, and other people will have to change their lifestyle completely because of fibro.
This is definitely going to be a two-parter show because Kelly says that she's got it and so does Kate. Now, if it took 2 years to diagnose that you got it, what were the doctors looking for? What were the doctors looking for? That's what I want to know.
They call it differential diagnosis.
Yeah.
So this is why when you go in with an ache in your hand, they will look at both hands to see if there's swelling, to see if there's any difference between the two hands. And that's what they're doing with disease. They will send you for tests, mostly to rule out things. And with fibro, so many of the symptoms are fleeting almost. And you have to have a series of them before they will give you the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. This is why it takes so long.
Well, we've got here that it's been described as a pot boiling over to Kelly. Kate says, yep, IBS and lactose intolerance now. So that's something else on top of it. Don't want a hat trick and get gluten intolerance, though. No, well, that'd be no good for Kate, would it, really? All the beer that she drinks and the wine. That was a joke.
Sandwiches.
Kate also said that her moods are all over the place when the symptoms come.
Yep.
Poor boys, you know what I mean? But all these symptoms are very mirroring. We've talked about mirroring before. To what we talked about with stress and anxiety and panic attacks. Very, very similar. People report their symptoms change over time. and they can fluctuate during different periods. Some symptoms may come and go, and some symptoms may come and stay for a lot longer than you want them to, and then they get better while other symptoms are occurring. It's important that you learn what triggers your fibromyalgia and what your symptoms are.
And I also think that with fibromyalgia, with the friends of mine that have got it and that have talked to me about it, right, it is so similar to mental illness. You have periods of wellness, and when you do, you get cocky.
Yeah.
So you cut down on your medication.
Yeah.
You up your exercise. You up what you're getting done. You go into the loft and you clear everything out. And you suddenly take 3 steps backwards. And it's such a journey to try and sort out how you can live and be as well as possible. Yeah. And it's not altogether different than aging.
Yeah.
That as you age, you realize, you know what? I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to do that, and now I can't do that. So you have to adjust. So you're in constant adjustment mode of trying to find the balance of living with this syndrome called fibromyalgia.
Okay, so I was at work one day, and then one morning my head reacted. I couldn't hold my head up, and my first known day of fibro.
Yeah.
All in the head.
Yeah.
All in the head.
Yeah.
And what does Kate say there, Kate?
With me, they were ruling out MS and lupus. In particular, then, over time, said fibro in 2007 and ME in 2012.
Well, 2007 is when the first prescription was given for fibromyalgia.
Maybe Kate got the first drugs.
Maybe Kate got the first
She was
one.
first in the queue.
Well,
no advocate for her.
It is almost that time,
yeah,
Kate.
so we'll stop where we are.
It is going to be a 2-dayer, this one, I think.
Well, I think because we can so intertwine it with mental health.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a physical ailment, fibromyalgia, right? But it is so intertwined, and symptoms of mental illness are part of how you know that you've got fibromyalgia.
Absolutely.
So.
And I bet it drives you up the wall just when you think you're getting better.
Well, exactly.
When you're having a good day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, boom, the head starts.
That's right. There's nothing more fun. Well, look at me. I'm counting my days of.
And what day are we today, Kate?
We are on day 10. Whoop,
Day
whoop,
10.
Whoop. I'm going for 25. Sorry, darling. I get excited. I'm whooping that I'm on day 10.
I don't want to go deaf.
No,
Thank
you
you
won't, darling.
Thank
you
you.
won't. Trust
Thank
me,
you.
darling.
Day 10, that's really good.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know what
really
day, for those of you who don't know
what day it is.
What day 10 is, it's 10 days without any anxiety.
Correct. And I'm going for 25.
Yeah.
And on the day of 25, I'm celebrating by using the bath bomb that I was given by the lovely Crazy Crew member Sheila.
You are indeed, and I can't wait because you won't have had a bath for over 25 days. So I'm quite looking forward to you getting one.
You're twisted.
I am. Tracy says, despite how awful it is, it's a strange kind of way. It gives me a better life as I've been forced to slow down and live in the moment.
That almost sounds like
Poetry.
lockdown.
Poetry.
Sounds like lockdown.
Well, that's exactly
slow down.
That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to live in the moment. So, Kate, say ta-ra to your friends.
Ta-da!
It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed that once again.
That's good, isn't it?
I have learnt so much about fibromyalgia, and I also know how to spell it, which I didn't before.
That's because you made a T-shirt.
I did.
You made a T-shirt.
But I've written it about 25 times today. So
I know.
I know how to spell it.
That's why, darling, I've gone with fibro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, I've got fibro.
Well, I don't know him that well. Thanks very much, guys. It's been really fascinating. We will see you tomorrow, as norm, at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Where we're going to be picking up on fibromyalgia. We've looked at symptoms. We're going to be looking at diagnoses tomorrow.
Yeah.
And also, you just inspired me, actually, Kelly. We're going to have a look at triggers, because she says there are so many triggers. So let's have a look at some triggers tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks very much. This is the Yorkshire Pudding saying we will see you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of your day and take it easy. And as Tracy says, just be in the moment.
And
My
this
pal.
is Kate the Great, the Crazy Canuck, saying ta-da.
And here's a blatant plug if you get a chance. We have got like we said, our podcast is live and kicking. Do have a listen to it, because it's
only 16 minutes long.
They're only very short.
Both of them.
And they're all about Kate.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So, Kate,
I
say
love you.
bye-bye.
I don't have fibro, but I suffer.
just say bye-bye.
I suffer.
Say bye-bye.
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 That's lovely. I thought you were very good there, Kate.
Thank you, darling. That was you too. You were lovely.
That's very kind of you to say.
Articulate and spelling and pronunciation and
Too many words.
too many words.
We've gone.